Hey guys, and welcome to Janet being Janet. This right here is 3 a.m. Janet. Y'all know that by now. You're used to me and there ain't no shame in my game. Alright, so I came across a video of Miss Katie's where it's supposed to be a little juicy. I haven't listened to it yet, but it's supposed to be juicy. So I figured if it's going to be juicy, me and you going to explore it together. That's what we do over here. That's what I try to do. But we're going to get through this. First, I'm going to read. She puts these down in her comment section so you know exactly what the video's about. And because I like to chop them up and just give you certain details, I read these in the beginning. Y'all can always fast forward them if you don't want to. If you don't want to listen to them, you can always fast forward them. Or you're more than welcome to just listen to me blabble alone as I read. Okay, here we go. Hi besties. Blake Lively has been officially dumped in a very public way by her longtime best friend. Taylor Swift all but confirms that Blake threatened to leak her intimate text messages about her relationships and bedroom life to the tabloids unless Taylor supported Blake in the feud against Baldoni. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends. Love you, Katie Joy. And I want to read just a little doozy here for you, okay? Somebody said, Katie, do you think Blake could still release their personal texts? After my experience with two narcissists, they scare me. Miss Katie said, they terrify me too. I do think they could be 100% released. Who you kidding? Who are you trying to kid? You want them dag-blame text messages so daggum bad you can't see straight. And I'm going to let you hear how I see this. All right, Janet, just shut up. Okay, I told myself shut up twice. All right, here we go.
Hey besties, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel.
Yeah, she's going to hear me pausing this because I got a lot to say. You hear her all upbeat and cheery on this one? When you listen to Sister Wives, it's not like that. They get the boring one. Oh, well, Katie's boring anyways, but okay.
It has been a roller coaster of a week, and that's just to put it mildly. Since I started covering the situation at the end of January, I know I came in a little bit late, I'm sorry.
Guys, I quit covering her. She's too daggone boring, but you know what? I'm coming in late, and here you go.
It's been a roller coaster. It's been wild. There's been fast-paced days where it feels like the docket doesn't stop moving. There's been days when there's been so much information that becomes public that you can't see straight. There has been misdirection and oversaturation, and
sometimes I wonder if I oversaturate my channel, bringing all different kinds of videos to you, but I figure, hey, let you have fun if you need to.
Narratives being spun, and this week was no different, right? And I think both sides are playing a game of PR. This is a game about PR. It's about restoring the image of a man that has been falsely accused.
I'm hoping the more I listen to this, I'm hoping she just gives her views and doesn't give me all this boring legal jargon.
And Blake Lively just being Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds just being Ryan Reynolds.
And Miss Katie just being Miss Katie.
That's my opinion. Please don't sue me.
Ooh! There you go. Yeah, Miss Katie, don't you come after me neither. Okay, thank you.
We all know that there's this ongoing fight about a subpoena in Washington, D.C. related to Taylor Swift's attorney, Douglas Baldridge, and alleged conversations that he had with Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and her attorney, Michael Gottlieb.
Same information is going to be repeated over and over in her videos, so we're back to the whole lawyer text messages. All right.
We know that Brian Friedman filed an affidavit in court under the penalty of perjury. We also know that a judge struck it down and called it improper.
Told you the judge booted it!
In the wrong venue, and basically reminded the press that just because someone files something in a motion or in a letter doesn't mean it's true, and the press should take note of it.
Just because you express an opinion over on your channel, people need to understand it may not be true. It's just an opinion, kind of like this.
You can make a lot of claims in court, and I guess New York is no different. And they have absolute privilege of, being cleared from defamatory claims.
Hey, you're doing all this research on all of this. Why are you having to guess, or why are you thinking maybe of... do the research into the actual court if that's what you're going to do. You do it in every other video.
But whether you think it's true or not with what happened, allegedly...
I'm allegedly going to do this video for y'all.
or what Brian says happened, with a source coming forward connected to Taylor Swift and providing him a third party account of what they heard from Taylor. So it is a little bit convoluted. It's like a friend of my friend of a friend.
And Miss Katie, you talk about Miss Taylor's friends all the time. Sometimes I think you might be just a little bit jealous.
Unless, of course, it is someone like Taylor's parents or her publicist or her boyfriend, someone very close to her that might have been privy to when this was happening. We don't know because he didn't identify him.
Ooh, she's really wanting to read them text messages. I'm going to tell you every single time. She wants those daggone things.
But when the judge struck it down, Blake's team, they were praising it and they were like very excited. And Michael Gottlieb and her PR released a statement, and Gottlieb says that the conversation didn't happen as described.
Y'all just remember, this is me just putting my own point of view on whatever she's saying to y'all, okay? I'm just kind of mouthing in between. Y'all remember that, okay? We're just having some fun.
So they admit a conversation happened. They admit a conversation happened with Taylor Swift's attorneys about Blake and Taylor and possibly putting out a statement.
Don't most attorneys talk to their clients about the reason why they're hired as an attorney?
But apparently it was not as described. Now, the same can be said for like Baldoni says that the way that Blake is framing this alleged smear campaign, which we don't believe.
Y'all take note of her laughing almost through this entire thing so far. You can tell she's chuckling.
He says it's not as described in her leaked text messages, right? But either way, they're acknowledging that a conversation happened. Whether or not it's relevant, whether or not it matters, whether or not, we don't know.
Y'all remember this in the last video? You should.
But when you're involved in a case like this, you have to deal with this really awful part of it, meaning that possible communications that you have with people that are private and off record and not stuff that you would show publicly can become part of the public record of a court case.
Miss Kate, have you ever had to share your public records from your phone on any of your court cases? I mean, just asking, have you ever had to? Because if you haven't, you don't know how Taylor feels.
And there is a pretty significant protective order here. And obviously not all of the text messages are going to become public.
Only the ones relevant to the case. You know what? You just repeat yourself again, Miss Katie.
Unless, of course, you're Blake Lively. But who will maybe leak them for a friend.
Maybe leak them for a friend. You have a problem with all of Taylor Swift's friends. I don't know what it is, but you got an issue with them.
If it wasn't true, and if this didn't happen, you would think that, at least I would think that, Taylor would then come out and be like, yep, you're right. It didn't happen. It wasn't true. I can't believe they did this. All her attorneys would have had to do is like refute it.
Yeah, attorneys, are you listening? Miss Katie's telling you what to do.
Or all Tree Payne would have had to do was refute it. But that's not what happened. In fact, after the judge struck from the court record the letter and the affidavit that Mr. Brian Friedman posted to the court docket.
Do you hear how she's imagine hearing that all the time.
Taylor Swift's team, whether it's Tree or her publicist, I'm assuming it's her PR, spoke to multiple outlets.
You don't know if it's her PR? You don't know that? As much investigation you have done on this case, you don't know? Well, then how am I supposed to know?
People Magazine and the Daily Mail.
Ooh, you like to get into all the things that were posted by other tabloids and stuff, don't you? You like to read them. That's one I skip over.
Two separate outlets have running two separate stories, and neither one of them have anything to do with Taylor being so glad the judge threw out that record. The first article where Taylor is sort of addressing it is that,
please don't start reading. Please don't start reading. I got more faith in my audience. I know y'all can read for yourselves. That's why I skip over.
She has halted her friendship with Blake. She wants no part in this drama. I thought the use of drama was an interesting one because if you are someone that is believing all women and you believe this happened to your friend, you probably wouldn't call this drama.
You know, some people call you a drama channel. Did you know that? Because of the way you express stuff. It's kind of funny. My opinion. I'm just saying.
Right? But that's what it sounds like she thinks it is. So People Magazine is some place that a lot of the Swifties trust because it's where Tree has her relationship with.
Do you have any clue about how rough and tough her Swifties are? Do you have any clue what they will do? They're not just little kids. They're adults too.
A source that a lot of publicists love because they won't push back or ask questions. And it's a great PR magazine, I guess, if you would like to say that.
Are you discrediting a magazine? Is that what you're doing? Sure sounds like it.
So they said that they can exclusively report she's struggling as she faces a subpoena by Baldoni's legal team. The friendship has halted.
Hey, halted is not done.
Taylor wants no part of this drama. Now, they must have talked to Leslie Sloan because then a separate source said,
I don't pay attention to the names because I could completely care less. That's not the point of this video.
They're indeed taking some space, but they're no longer friends.
If that's true, why did you title this with dumped? That's what you did. If they're, lady.
I really wish they would stop giving Blake the space to decide if Taylor's not friends with her.
I really wish that it would be okay for you not to worry about a friendship or not and be more focused on the text messages themselves.
Swift is really hurt after being implicated in her legal fight.
Wouldn't you be?
But that stars were working to put it all behind them. That is all out the window. The subpoena has fractured the fragile peace between Lively and Swift, who is the godmother to her kids.
Just so you know, Miss Katie has a problem with that, okay? I've already done a video on it and about religion and stuff like that. Miss Katie has a problem.
So they were trying to put things behind them, but then she got subpoenaed. And apparently this is the end.
Apparently it's the end, so we don't know if it's the end yet. Okay, I'm just waiting to the part to where proof comes that Taylor dumped her.
And Gigi Hadid is also leaving.
I remember Gigi from Real Housewives because I used to watch them.
They said Gigi feels terrible that her close friend is being pulled into legal drama. Again, another person referring to alleged smear campaigns and harassment as drama.
I have a question. I'm asking, how do you get away with not saying SA or SH, or how do you get away with saying the full name? Because I edit all that out. So I don't know how you get it approved on your channel. I don't know.
Gigi is closer to Taylor and has definitely taken a side in the whole drama.
Hey, I don't think anybody's on Blake's side at this point.
Gigi doesn't want to get involved in the whole ordeal, but she's closer to Taylor and has distanced herself from Blake, although she still considers her a friend.
Are you just reading and not putting it on the screen? Is that what you're doing now?
In the same article, they discuss that affidavit and how the affidavit allegedly, included conversations between Swift's legal team and Lively's legal team.
There you go. If she says anything less about the article, I'll come back. If she starts reading the article, then y'all have at it.
There's no refutal. There's no refute from her. They have the content of what happened this week with the affidavit.
Guess what, guys? Taylor isn't denying it. Oh, yeah, she told you that in the last video.
Right? In the same article as Taylor saying the relationship is over and it's because of this subpoena.
So in the article it says that they're over? Because I didn't read the article. I don't plan on reading the article because you're going to tell me all about it. Yeah, kinda.
Okay. And then the same article references what Baldoni filed and they don't refute it. They could have asked her, do you have a comment about this? She said nothing.
Because sometimes it's best to keep your mouth shut. Learning time?
Again, instead she's ending her friendship.
Miss Katie, if you're going to talk about it ending, then why don't you put some proof up there so I know for sure this is the only time I'm asking you for words?
So then the Daily Mail took it a step further and says,
Y'all, you can go read that Daily Mail article. All right, guys, here's what's pretty much happened. She's reading the article. That's what she's doing. Should I read the articles to you like she does and make my video even longer? Should I do that?
Gigi is loyal to Taylor. She is not and will never be one of Blake's dragons.
You must not know Gigi's personality. She's a no-nonsense person.
If your best friend is making claims of sexual harassment and sexual assault.
There you go. SASH. How do you get away with it?
And you're supportive of your friend and you believe them, why then would you be offended about being brought into a legal case? Celebrities get pulled into other celebrities' lawsuits all the time.
But it's not like a lawsuit like this. This has become really big. That's how you're getting all your ching-ching.
Due to the fact that they're friends. They may have to testify. They may have to give depositions. This isn't abnormal. lawsuits related to films and copyright and intellectual theft and extortion in celebrity world isn't uncommon either.
I think she's given her opinion. I'm not for sure, but I think that's her opinion.
If you had something to offer and it was something relevant, you would understand that while you may not want to be involved in it, that you will become involved in it because of your proximity to what occurred.
You understand that's not just with celebrities, right? It can happen with everyday people. Just checking.
But what it really feels like is, from my estimation here, is that
Ooh, Katie Joy's gonna break it down for us. Y'all ready for this? This is what we need.
they feel like she exploited their names, used their names to bring publicity to this film, that she overstated, Blake did, what Taylor and even Gigi might have been involved in. She brought up Gigi's name a lot, by the way.
You bring up Taylor's name a lot. Even if Taylor wasn't involved, you bring up her name.
And then weaponizing them and her proximity to Taylor specifically, as though having Taylor in your back pocket can be used as not only a gift, but also as a weapon.
Ooh, I think she sees Taylor the same way. Taylor can become a weapon, even on her channel.
And, you know, I don't always love Taylor Swift.
Ooh, statement of the century. Ooh, there you go. Ooh, she proved it. Woohoo, we got proof.
I do like her music, I'll tell you that.
How do you like her music if you're constantly complaining about her? This is the first time you've ever actually admitted that you listen to her.
She's not my favorite singer, but I love her music.
What song? Name me a song. I want to know which one you like the most. Just tell me. I want to see if we're the same.
She's had public feuds with other friends, right? She's had falling outs. She's written about them in songs. She'll probably write a whole album about Blake.
She also writes them about her exes, and you know what? She does pretty daggone good because she breaks in that chain.
But I was trying to think of what Taylor's actual behavior publicly has been when it comes to friends.
Lady, you're the one keeping tabs on her, not me. You knew when she was in New York.
And generally, it's not to throw them under the bus. It is to be supportive. I mean, Taylor was not best friends by any means with Kesha. Absolutely no reason to help her.
Why do you keep bringing this up? It's almost in every single video. You bring this up when you're talking about Taylor. Taylor donated money. Yes, we understand that. Yes, Taylor did it for a purpose. Yes, we understand that. But you keep going about the same thing.
She didn't have to help her, but she saw what Kesha was going through and she offered her money and emotional support.
Yes, because that's who Taylor is.
Because she believed Kesha and she believed in what she was fighting and she was supporting another woman. So in this case, her lawyers say we can't verify if any of this is true.
Oh, so you're just trying to still point out that Taylor isn't giving any money towards Blake's case, right? Is that what you're trying to point out? Okay, I honestly don't know.
And now she's saying, you did this. You exploited your best friend. She's exploited the godmother of her children and manipulated the public into thinking she was watching out for her best interests.
Miss Katie, I just have a question. Did you happen to exploit any of the people that you had on your channel? Did you happen by any chance to talk to a couple of people, and maybe one named Matt and one named Amy? Did you happen to do anything about them? Just asking you.
So publicly, what they were doing in the case was trying to claim that they wanted all of these protections in the third party discovery to protect the celebrities that might end up getting subpoenaed. And they spent a whole lot of time in that public hearing.
Guys, y'all tell me if you want to listen to all this. This is more of her opinion, and that's what I'm here for, is her opinion. Because sometimes, I don't know, she may get it right.
Where they argued about protecting the privacy of these celebrities that are going to get subpoenaed because of their proximity to Blake and Ryan and to Justin. And they were making it a display as though they were fighting for Taylor to keep her communications private.
Miss Katie, I'm full of questions, okay? So here's my question for you on this one. Do you understand conversations between friends? Do you understand not outing them?
That's what it felt like overwhelmingly.
Your opinion? Is it?
In the hearing. They've been publicly decrying and saying that Justin is exploiting her and dragging her into this. And
I thought you said Blake was doing that. Isn't that what you did say?
It's not fair, and that she's being used for clickbait, and this is horrible.
She's being used for clickbait. All right, Miss Katie, mirror time.
But then on the flip side has also said that like she didn't see the movie and she wasn't involved in anything. And, so she's on the one hand ripping apart Blake's claims that she was involved. And so the attorneys have said the same, like there was no involvement here, none.
Hey, you've already said that, I think, about 3 different times, just in different ways.
And so on the one hand, she's calling Blake a liar. And on the other hand, she's mad at Baldoni. So maybe she's team no one.
I'm team no one. I'm just covering what you cover.
But that last part of that sentence is what Blake has done was exploit the godmother of her children and manipulating the public into thinking that she was watching out for her best interests.
If I remember, I will link that whole godmother thing because it bothered Miss Katie.
She's implicating and intimating here that behind the scenes, Blake was not behaving in a way that is how a friend would behave if they are truly trying to protect your best interests.
Hey, I gotta give it to Miss Katie. This one isn't a whole bunch of reading thus far. Okay, one part, but still, we still going.
So she's using her proximity to Taylor to use Taylor's name for clickbait for the lawsuit as though she's protecting her and trying to fight for her. But then privately, she's not treating Taylor with that same respect.
Do I believe sometimes you're treating Taylor with that respect? Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I think she's just a storyline.
And she's apparently telling Taylor, listen, your text messages might get released.
Warning, warning, warning. That's all you need to say. She was warned. That's it, because I understand what that means.
And it's interesting because that conversation happened right before Blake dropped her second amended complaint. And maybe she wanted Taylor to give her, permission to share in the documents or in the court records. I don't know.
Thank you for saying I don't know, because now I believe this is kind of your opinion. Okay.
I don't know.
Yes, ma'am, I understand you don't know. Neither do I.
But again, the implication here is that behind the scenes, Blake was manipulative and not caring about whatsoever Taylor or protecting Taylor in any way.
So reporting on Taylor so much as protecting her and her, her feelings and things like that?
It was the opposite, but then told the public she was. That's a pretty bold statement. There's no refute from there that this didn't happen. And
there's that word again for you. She's stuck.
Again, Gigi's done with her.
Again, let's make the video longer.
And they're not her dragons, and they don't want to be friends with her. It's done.
How many friends do you have? Are they done?
Some people in the media are confused. Like, well, if everything that was posted by Baldoni's team and if his lawyers are lying, of course Taylor and Swift are friends. But I don't understand how the mainstream media can't see what's happening here.
Miss Katie, don't they need to be enlisting you for this? Because you're the one that does all the hard research and you're the one that stays up digging all the time. They need to come to you for information, right? Just to you.
Taylor's been trying to publicly say this for months, that she's not friends with Blake. And every time she tries to say it, Blake comes back in the PR and is like, no, we're best friends and we're fine.
And one time before not even one time, probably multiple times, you said that they weren't friends and then they turned out being friends, I think being seen together, and then you got upset.
I'd say that Blake did exploit her friend's name, used her friend's very famous position.
Amy Duggar!
Way bigger than her or Ryan, to gain publicity for the film and used her proximity to her as a weapon against Baldoni. And when she saw the text from the complaint from Baldoni's side, that was a huge turning point for her because she saw what Blake was saying about her privately.
What if we wanted, I'm just asking questions here. What if we wanted the text messages between her and Amy when all that stuff blew up? What if we wanted the private text messages? Wouldn't she be offended? I would.
That would feel like a betrayal to anyone. That response to me was like, okay, I would say maybe there's some truth to what happened. I don't know what actually happened, and I don't know if it'll ever come up, and I don't know if we'll ever know all the details, but the fact that Taylor's done really tells me all I need to know.
That's all I need to know too, but you sure are saying it in like 15 different ways so that you can get more ching-ching in the end.
Now, supporters of Blake are trying to say that this is what Baldoni's good at. He's good at pitting women against each other.
I personally think you're good at manipulating your audience.
And now it's no longer about Blake versus Baldoni, but it's Blake versus Swift.
I'm guessing that's what Miss Katie fully feels, because she sure is acting like it.
And I would disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree.
Oh, okay. So I was wrong. She disagrees with this one. Let's see what else she. I can't keep up. I can't. I ain't gonna lie.
I think there's two parallel issues happening. It's Taylor versus Lively because of what Lively did. Because as they said at the Daily Mail,
Are we gonna quote the Daily Mail again? Because I thought this was your opinion.
they said she has no one to blame but herself for what she did. That has nothing to do with Justin. And Justin trying to get information about Taylor Swift.
Miss Katie, can you do something for me and say allegedly or my opinion or something like that? Can you do that so that I don't have to send my audience to look back at different articles? Can you just say that?
Isn't about pitting women against each other. If you're part of a lawsuit and you're getting sued and your friend licensed a song and you told the director that the friend was super involved,
All right, guys, she's on a tangent.
he's gonna subpoena that friend. The only person that brought Taylor into the situation is Blake. So no one's pitting Taylor against Blake.
You are. That's pretty much what you're doing. My opinion.
Blake pit herself against Taylor with her own behavior.
Miss Katie, we leave behavior out of this because I don't want to call you out too much.
Okay, I want to point something out
Thank you. Can you point it out fast? You? Probably not.
because of something that was shared. And a lot of people are wondering why this was brought up by Friedman. And I'm starting to get the sense that they are not pro Taylor, they're not pro Blake.
Can't you just say they're neutral then? Isn't that what you need to say? Hey, guys, let me tell you, I'm bringing this to you like this so that you understand what she's doing over on her channel. And this one's a little different than most of them. Usually by now she would have been reading every single court document there is, every single article. I don't know what she's doing and what made her do this like this, but hey, it's different.
I'm starting to get the sense that Baldoni's team is realizing how little Taylor had to do with this and how much she lied about Taylor's involvement and how Taylor's lack of involvement. And
So you're kind of thinking that they don't need Taylor's text? Is that what you're kind of thinking? I'm confused. You keep me confused because you bounce from here to there.
ignorance to what was happening
That's me.
and the fact that she was using Taylor as a tool has made them realize that Taylor can be used in a way to show that Blake lied.
Can I just make an assumption? It's just my questioning. Did you not have a story for this day? Did you not? Because this is not like your typical thing. So did you not have a story and then you just all of a sudden said, okay, I'm going to try to make a video out of this so that I can get my ching. Is that what you did?
It's a way for them to chip away at Blake's credibility and to show the manipulative way she used this person to gain power on a film set that she never should have had power or access to that kind of power.
Do you remember the Instagram post that started all of this? One question. One person asked about the whole Blake Lively, Ryan, and Justin thing. One question. Miss Katie said she wasn't familiar with it, and then all of a sudden, bam, it takes off.
And if they know that Taylor isn't as involved, right? They have to know because obviously at this point they've had a chance to speak to someone close to Taylor, right?
I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions because I want to know. Are you talking about the source? Is that who you're talking about?
And if they're only going to seek information about this possible threat she made to Taylor, it makes it seem like they might back off of asking Taylor for everything, or maybe they're willing to negotiate with Taylor.
Is there any negotiation with you whenever it actually comes to like the courts and things like that? Is there any negotiation, or is it just kind of one of these things of, oh, hey, don't do this to me and I won't do this to you? Is that how it works with you?
About what she gives them in their through the subpoena. Taylor has another week to reply. And
woman, how much longer until your lawsuit is over or goes to trial or does something, whatever it's going to do? How much longer? Give us some insight here.
I'm sure Taylor is angry about the subpoena because from her point of view, if I put myself in Taylor's view, is
no, ma'am, don't you do that, because we know how bad you want to be her.
Why am I involved in a lawsuit in something I had nothing to do with? She basically inserted a friend into a fight, but that friend had nothing to do with the fight. It was just a manipulative tool for that friend to get what she wanted.
It's because some people are stuck in high school.
And when you have the kind of fame that Taylor has, she's spoken about how hard it is for her to trust people because there are so many people that are in this industry and people that befriend her that are there for the wrong reasons.
You know what? Miss Katie thinks that she's more well known than even Cody Brown. She's more well known because she can ask Alexa who she is.
And I think she believed after all of these years, Blake was not that person, but clearly she was.
Chuckle a little more. People don't think you're a certain kind of person, but in all honesty, you are.
So I could see why she would be angry about getting a subpoena if she really did have nothing to do with it. And if she really did have nothing to do with it, then Wayfair can use this as a way to show, see, she even lied about Taylor Swift.
Now, Miss Katie, remember, I'm just doing your words and I'm just adding my words into it, okay? You do more like these, and these are a whole lot easier for me.
So if she lied about Taylor Swift, why don't you think she would lie about the harassment? Because it's another way for her to leverage power.
Seriously, tell me how you get away with those words. Tell me, because I get dinged.
It all comes down to manipulation.
And with you, it's cha-ching.
Everything is a vehicle and a tool for her to get what she wants. And it doesn't matter if it's true at all.
For those people that don't understand why I'm interrupting so much, it's because Miss Katie is Miss Katie, but also this is my channel. I try to make it a little bit more fun for you, even though most of the time I don't.
And part of that is Ryan. Ryan is clearly very much behind this, as much as Blake is.
And you're the one that's behind every word that's being spoken right now.
And the Daily Mail is trying to put out some warning shots, I guess.
Didn't I already earlier in this video say, warning, 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 warning? I saw that.
To remind Taylor about what's at stake here, of what Blake could potentially disclose about her. And this is just low, honestly. I can't tell where this is coming from. It doesn't feel like it's coming from Taylor.
Miss Katie, you have had a whole community against you called anti-KJ. I don't say KJ too much. I say Miss Katie now. But you had a whole lot of people against you. Do you remember that?
But it's claiming that Blake was threatening to expose basically intimate, private details about Taylor's love life, her sex life, her relationships with her exes.
How do you say that word? I bleeped it out for y'all. How does she get to say that word? I am full of questions.
Her current relationship, her insecurities. She was threatening to put out information about their relationships with all the different guys that she had been with over the years while Blake and her were friends.
Do you know what you're making her sound like? It rhymes with poor. That's what you're trying to make her sound like, in my opinion. Only my opinion. This is for entertainment purposes, only entertainment purposes, and I just like to have fun on YouTube.
So they're claiming that Taylor had confided in her about her high-profile relationship with Travis from the very beginning to their bedroom secrets.
Ooh, you're saying that with a grin on your face. Ooh, I can hear it. Can y'all hear it?
So she was going to potentially disclose and have splashed across the headlines details about Taylor and Travis's life.
Would you like something like that to be exposed about you?
And they're also claiming that Taylor shared very raw details with Blake about her boyfriend of 6 years, Joe Alwyn, and her brief romance with rocker Matt Healy.
Lady, reality question. Do you have best friends that you talk to? Because this is not out of the norm. It's not. When you're best friends with someone, you talk about anything and everything, and you expect it to be a one-on-one thing. That's what you expect out of your best friend.
And she was willing to put out private information about the breakups with these guys and the relationship.
That's what happens when a friendship turns cold. Been there, done that.
And the intimate revelations about her private life are contained in all of these texts. And that was the threat. Like, if you don't do this, we're going to splash it all over the headline.
That was the threat. It was one, or it still is one.
And then this article goes into all of the details about all the men that she dated, which is sort of like this warning shot to Taylor. Like, I could still put this out.
Why does it sound like you were smiling right now? Why does it sound like that?
Talking about Calvin Harris and Joe and the guy that she dated for like 2 minutes, Tom Hiddleston.
Quit it! Quit it! Nobody needs you to make a list of everybody she's been with. Quit it!
And now her current relationship with Travis.
And those are the texts you really want, huh? Did you think those are going to be juicy?
And apparently Taylor and Travis, while they're very public and they started out very public, they don't want all of their private, intimate details out for public consumption.
Do you hear her repeating the same thing over and over? Just checking.
And because of that threat, apparently that's why Taylor is done. But it would appear that it would be more like the threats are...
I heard the giggle there. Can't deny that one.
a last-ditch effort. Like you're not getting what you want. You're losing the proximity to who you have. You're trying to leverage some level of control over them to intimidate them into giving you what you want.
There's people that say you do that. Did you know that? People think that you like to intimidate other people.
After bringing them into something that doesn't involve them, that's just crappy. Now, is it relevant to the case? I don't know.
Keep saying I don't know. Just keep doing that and we'll be good.
Honestly.
That's all I want is your honesty.
If she told Taylor to delete text, yes, that's relevant. If the threats were for her to put out a post to support Blake because of the lawsuit, then yes, it's relevant.
She's getting towards the end, so we're going to hear more of the repetition of what repetition. Is that even a word? We're going to hear her repeat more and more about what she did in the beginning so that we can start on one subject and title and word, and we can end on one subject, title, and word. Okay.
Whether or not Friedman will ever get access to that is unknown, but it's a really crappy way to do a friend of 10 years.
See, she had to repeat the word crappy. I'm telling you, that's what she does.
And it just shows how utterly diabolical and cold and callous and careless these people are.
Why are you always describing yourself? It's not a good look.
And I don't know when the mainstream media is going to wake up, because if Taylor Swift, who is supposedly America's sweetheart, and you guys, we know that Taylor's a human, right?
There it is. There it is. That's all you need to hear. There you go. She's America's sweetheart. Miss Katie does not like that. Y'all know she doesn't like that. I know she doesn't like that. And she calls Taylor out on it all the time.
She makes mistakes and she's not perfect. And she keeps so much of her life guarded around this very vanilla image of herself.
Ooh, you disrespecting little... Taylor is vanilla. She just vanilla. She ain't hot cocoa like Miss Katie.
To maintain a level of popularity and relatability to people, so she doesn't want to be disliked and she wants to be marketable.
I tell you something, I don't think you understand when you actually repeat stuff about yourself. I don't think you understand that. I'll help you with it though.
And so she has to keep a lot of things private.
Usually it's a want to, because most people don't want their text messages in public.
And it's sad because people that do that are trying to play it safe, yes, they can get very famous, but then they also have so many skeletons.
Ding, 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 ding. You're trying to make yourself famous, but guess what? You still have skeletons. We all do, Miss KT.
That would completely dismantle and destroy that public mask that they wear.
Oh, lady, I wasn't always like this. I wasn't anything like this. I turned like this after something happened to me, but I wasn't always like this. So yes, we all have skeletons.
So, yeah. But to think that a best friend would do that is pretty crappy.
3 for 3. She's proving my point. She's repeating herself. Use a different word, Miss Katie. It won't be so obvious.
But it doesn't surprise me because it's the same crap she pulled on Justin.
4 for 4. Miss Katie, use different words. Use bigger words. Do smaller words for your audience, but use different words. Don't repeat over and over because your video gets redundant.
And if Taylor thinks this about Blake, she's got to know that Blake is lying about Justin, or else she would have supported her friend.
If the friendship is over, and Taylor already said the friendship was over, and it was actually strained for months upon months now, then of course she's not going to come out and defend her friend, because her friend is no longer her friend.
So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up.
So what are your thoughts? Huh? What do y'all think? I got a comment section for that. Y'all know that? I got a comment section. Y'all can use it.
Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.
Bye, Miss Katie. Okay, who likes the way I did this? Who likes this form, fashion, all that? I was able to do more with this one because it was more of her opinions. Do y'all like this? Y'all tell me down in the comments. You like this? Did you have a little bit of fun? Did you learn anything? What you thinking? I want to know so that I can make content better because I like to be criticized, unlike some people. All right, guys, I hope you have a good day, night, weekend, holiday, year, whenever you might be watching this, and remember to smile today or make somebody else smile because it really can make a difference. Yeah. I'm trying to get ready really early because I got somewhere I got to be. This thing is so cool. It makes my eyes twitch. But I got somewhere I got to be early, so I wanted to get this to you before I left. You're welcome. All right, guys. Bye.